Hey everyone, it's me. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Jasmine. I'm part of the Eternal Circle. I'm also known as the Psychic Mummy. Today I am doing some painting. So I will be painting this spirit guide that I've been working on for a little while now. I think this is day 4. He should be done today or tomorrow morning. Same with the other one that I'm working on, but I didn't bring her down to work on, only because I want it to be a little bit more of a surprise for this individual who's already figured it out. Oops, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Anyways, so most of the time I'm going to have my camera pointing downwards while I'm painting, of course, so you guys can see. But this is what I've got so far. Okay. Alright, so this is our spirit guide painting, and I'm just getting all set up here. Got my paints and everything, paintbrushes, all that stuff. I don't even know if I'm going to need most of them. I usually work with like three brushes at most. Today's rather nice and sunny. It's a beautiful, gorgeous day today. I like it because it's not hot. The last few days have been extremely warm, and I don't deal well with the heat. I don't care if my birthday's in the summer, but the heat's just not for me. Give me this temperature and I'm just happy and smiling. Still waiting on that rain though. My body is a little bit creaky, unhappy, but that's why, I've got what I got for that. So obviously we're gonna have some brown here. I might need some black, I don't know yet. These paints are awesome, by the way. I've got there's 3 different trays of different colors, which is just absolutely blows my mind, because for me it's like my little treasure trove of colors. It makes me so excited. I found these online and I'm like, I read the reviews, because sometimes you can't tell, right? When you go to buy something, you're like, is it any good? Are they okay? But the reviews are amazing, so I'm like, okay, well, we'll see how it goes. And then when I started working with these paints, I'm like, oh my god, they're amazing. And it just makes me like the happiest little kid on the planet. Sounds silly, but to me it's for an artist, it's like, ooh, ah. So the little ones are down for a nap, except for the bigger one. She's like all into Ninja Turtles, so we might hear some laughing and giggling and whatnot, but that's okay. Let's see here, what else we're going to need. We're going to need blue of some description, and some yellow. Ew. That's okay. That's alright. You're not an artist unless you get a little bit muckified. Okay. I think that's... I'm just going to take a look at this butterfly one more time. I think that's... Yeah, that's yellow. Yeah, no, that's yellow. Okay. I'm going to need some green too. Yeah, see, don't mind me as I talk to myself about the colors that I need, because this is the process that goes through every time that I paint. It's just like so much as like the mental prepping as I'm getting the visual of it. Background stuff isn't too bad. I figured I'd do a video while I'm painting the main aspect of what I'm painting, just because the background stuff is kind of blasé. It's kind of like not exciting, except for the part where he decided to throw in extra items in the background, which was exciting to say the least. I'm like, alright, so you're adding extra stuff, hooray! And for people that have worked with watercolor before, you'll understand that it's a bit of a pain in the butt. Only because you end up running into situations like bleeding with watercolors, and watercolors don't tend to mask other colors as well. So took a couple of layers of going over and over and over in order to mask some of the color. So I think I've got most of the colors that I need. Just need some green here. Probably go with that one. Both of them. Tis the fun. Tis the fun. It was funny because today I was supposed to do kind of some self-care with another individual, and that got canceled, but it's okay. It's been a weird, wacky day, so I'm okay with that. Woke up to some weird dreams, and then had to make sure that some friends of mine were okay. Do some energy work this morning, and was like, I don't think so. This ain't happening. Yeah, nobody kind of does that kind of stuff unless without me knowing. Like, can't be sneaky that way. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to lower the camera. You guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here we go. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but we'll try. I can't paint backwards, so there's no way of doing that. But we'll do what we can do, okay? So, of course, I'm going to stop and hold them up for you so you can see, okay? I promise. Alright, so first things first is I usually start with skin tone and whatnot, but because of the fact that he's got his hat up here, I'd rather start with his hat. So I think that's what I'm going to do first. And he's already shown me his hat like multiple times, so I already know what I'm painting for his hat. It's almost like a type of prayer hat. When it comes down to it. Very, very interesting type of hat. Yeah. Whenever you hear a loud buzzing sound, you just happen to catch me on doing video day on laundry day too. Laundry's gotta be done. Laundry's gotta be done. That stuff never seems to stop. Oh well. So I've been really busy with these paintings, and I am not complaining one bit. I've actually been very much enjoying them because the fact of keeping myself busy and getting to interact with so many different people, like not just spirit-wise, but interacting on an actual, not like, I guess not physical basis, but interacting text-wise communication, I guess. So it's been nice that way. It's opened up the doorway a little bit, and it's kind of nice for me. I'm a very kind of introverted person when it comes down to it, so it's kind of nice. My daughter seems to be having a conversation up there by herself. Maybe she's having a conversation with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I used to be all into them when I was a little kid too. It was nice today. We went for a little walk in the forest, and I got to see where my daughter's energy was at, and she's very good at connecting with animals and plant life, that's for certain. So it's just good with feeling other things, which is kind of cool. And it's very much like, I think that if anyone has like an intuitive child, I would very much encourage keeping that going, especially if you yourself aren't intuitive. It's just one of those things that should be encouraged and shouldn't be kiboshed. Right? It's just another form of acceptance. Right? Just another form. There's blue in here. It's funny because I have this feeling that these shapes and stuff have some form of symbolism as well. Like there's a lot of like diamonds and triangles in this painting, so I'm thinking that there's symbolism associated with these shapes. So I think once I sit down to talk with him a little bit more, he'll give me a little bit more information on that. Usually during the painting process, they won't step through unless they really need to put something into the painting, or if they're wanting to convey something. And that's more like spirit guides, right? The spirit guides are like that. Past lives are not. Past lives, it's like seeing a movie reel for me. It's like seeing a movie. So it's a little bit different that way. I'm very sorry. My allergies have been very bad lately because of the type of season we're in. It just hasn't been great for my allergies. Okay. So we've got his hat. Okay. So next will be his skin. Where's my other paintbrush at? There we go. Okay. Well, when he steps through, his skin tone is rather is rather darker. I've had this paintbrush since high school. It's like one of my favorite ones. Because it's like a medium type of bristle, like it's a medium brush. But it's just so perfect. So I'll be sad when this paintbrush decides to be like, no, I give up. Because it'll be hard to find a paintbrush that kind of matches this one. It's just so well formed. You know, people are like, oh, you should change your paintbrushes every so many months or whatever. And I'm like, no, They're like friends to me. Like, we have a history. I'm pretty bad for that. You get used to it. You get used to the comfortability of using certain things, right? And you're like, no, I don't want to change my paintbrushes. Like I understand it because of the bristles fraying and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's kind of like, my paintbrushes are pretty much in good condition. Like, I don't need to worry about it that much. And as so much as that, right? If you take good care of your paintbrushes, then you won't have to replace them so much. Right? It all depends on the pressure that you're using them, whether or not you wash them properly and dry them properly and all that stuff. Right? It's all dependent on that stuff. So, there you have it. Oh. Aha, cat fur. It's not like I have cats. One ear. So I kind of paint the face a little bit lighter on purpose, so that way I can do any kind of shading that there needs to be. So it can be a little bit more realistic. Looking forward to getting my new glasses. I think that's going to help me a lot too. And the idea of painting. And so many other things. I'm starting to find that I'm having issues with seeing near and far, so it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, no, time for some glasses here. Time for an upgrade. That will be nice to be able to see again. This spirit guide is actually a very humorous, very light-hearted fellow. He brought in a lot of loving, nurturing energy, very light energy that he brought in when he came to see me. Although it took me a while to figure out whose spirit guide it was. I'm like, well, at first I thought he belonged to somebody else, and he's like, no. I'm like, okay, because I was focused on that particular person. And then I'm like, oh no, she asked for a past life painting, so it's not her. And then I'm like, well, do you belong to so-and-so? And he's like, he nods his head, and I'm like, okay, there we go. Alright then. So I finally found the owner, or the partner of the spirit guide. There you go. Because I think, there was 3 spirit guide paintings and 2 past life paintings from the contest. And I was just wrapping up on a past life painting that I did at the time before he stepped in. Yeah. Came in with all this swirling energy, light energy. very pretty. I was just having my morning coffee, just like barely waking up. And he kind of showed up there, a bunch of pink swirls and green swirls and yellow swirls, and then I'm like, oh, what's that pretty thing over there? And then poof, there he was. Very awesome sense of humor, wicked laugh. He was very like ready to go. Ready to go. He was ready to be painted. And I was like, dude, I want to paint you, but you gotta wait, because, like, not even done this person's write-up yet. Let's not touch the paint. The other problem is wet paint. So there we go. Okay. So I'm going to take my smaller brush now and just get the around the eyes and stuff here. If I can. Put that there. Gotta turn it around so that way my hand doesn't get stuck on any kind of wet paint there. You don't want that. Don't want any transference from my hand onto other paint. That would suck. Yeah. So nice that I don't have to do dishes. Thanks, honey. What a lifesaver. Like, to be fair, I do dishes like all week, so it's kind of nice that I don't have to do them on the weekend. Instead, I get like mountains of laundry in return. Which is fine. I don't mind laundry as much as I do dishes. Dishes are just a pain in the butt. I don't know about anyone else. I don't mind doing dishes if I'm like in a mood, right? Like, dishes are calming that way, but like, I'm not much into dishes otherwise. I have this weird like hand condition that doesn't like soap or water for some reason. Doesn't mean I don't wash my hands. I wash my hands regularly. Just that my hands start to like get really dried out and then start to split open, and it's horrible. So my hands are really sensitive to something, and I don't know if it's just because of the type of water, because we're in the city, right? So it could be the chlorine in the water for all I know that's making my hands really sensitive. So right now it's just so much as shadowing. So right now that's what I'm doing right now, is the shadowing part of his face. Right now he's just showing me the lines in his face. Like the creases. He does have these markings on his face, like almost like tribal markings, I would think. That's what I would call them, as tribal markings. I don't know what they would be called otherwise. If somebody knows, give me a shout out. That'd be awesome. So basically, like, the watercolor, you just kind of have to play off of what you have, paint-wise, right? Because if you have any, like, extremely dark spots, you can play off of that, especially if you don't want the area to be super dark. So I've been doing the paintings. Been doing painting since I was about 14, 15. Spirit guide stuff I've been doing sketches of for a long time. For about 20 years or so. My first past life experience I had was probably when I was 7. 7 or 8, I would say, is when I had my first past life experience. And that experience really scared me because I didn't know what it was. And it was actually interesting because it was a past life experience I had with my mom. She was also involved in my past life as well. And what had happened was that I was a young African boy, and more like a kind of like a servant type, I suppose. And I was bringing in water to this white boy, and I just remember the look on his face, this fear, this look of shock and fear, and he was pointing. And when I turned around, there was this giant lioness's head right in front of me. And I didn't feel any pain, but that was the last thing that I remembered. I remember that I used to play with this white boy. I know it was frowned upon. I know that his dad didn't like it. But when I woke up, I was extremely scared. I mean, think of it as a 7-year-old, right? Or an 8-year-old, something that was so real, right? Something so real. And it felt real. Like waking up and feeling like you've been attacked. It was definitely an experience to be had. And my mom explained, that was probably a past life, and she explained past lives to me. And she, later on, she had the dream as well. The same dream. We had the same. I had the recurring dream, the same past life recurring dream, the same night that she had it, and it turned out that she ended up being the white boy, and that's how we knew that we've been together in a past life before, and it's not been the first past life that we shared together. Probably because of the reason why we butted heads so much in this lifetime, to be honest. So I mean, for me, my experiences with past lives has been a very long thing. Being an intuitive has been a forever thing. I think my first intuitive experience was when I was 5. Like a real intuitive experience, like being able to see like clairaudience, clairsentience. and seeing this black figure at the top of this hill one day, and I thought it was somebody that I knew. But as soon as I got to the top of the hill, they weren't there anymore. Oh, time's up. Laundry's done. So, I mean, being the way I am has been a lifetime thing for me. Yeah. So that's a little bit about my experiences. The Clara, well, being able to taste and smell. I can't remember the names of it now. Being able to taste and smell, that didn't come until later. Till I was in like my teens. The knowing part has always been a part of me. The seeing and hearing has always been a part of me. But the tasting and the smelling didn't come on board until I was in my teenage years. I learned about how to control my empathy when I was also in my teens. I had no other choice but to learn how to control it because it was getting out of hand. So it was like, either learn how to control it or it's just going to eat me alive. Okay, so as promised, flip them around for you to see. Okay, so he's carrying it beautifully. Love him, love him, love him, love him. Okay, his eyes though are definitely not as dark. He's showing me that his eyes are more of a brighter brown. So we'll go with that. Yeah, I know it's rather jarring when you hear the laundry go, but sorry guys, I did have laundry to do today. So I think what I'll do is I'll leave it finishing his eyes and his mouth for you guys, okay? Just because that would be, it's just jarring to watch a video and not see someone finish eyes and mouth and be like, oh, we're done. At least to me anyways. Don't know about you guys. He's saying, yeah, that's the right color. Okay, cool. That's why I'm not nodding my head. I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad that's the right color. He's like, yeah, that's the right color. Okay, cool sauce. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna do that because I'm afraid that that's gonna bleed, so I'm not gonna do that just yet. I will add these in though. We'll add in the little marks in between the teeth. I hate when that happens. It's like, oh, just not enough black in there. Do. Okay. Do the hairline here. Nothing more jarring than not to have hair. Just leave those white pieces up there. There you go, your painting's done. Oops. Sorry, I forgot to add the hair. That would suck. I've done that before where I get a painting finished and be like, something seems off with this painting, and it turns out that I've missed like something on a person's body or something, like, oh, oops, and then go back and have to touch it up. Like, now it doesn't look so strange. There we go. Hooray. Yeah, so this is more not like an intuitive video. This is just like a to show you type of thing of how I go about this. Like, they tell me the colors, they tell me the choices, they tell me, you know, their appearance, they tell me the shading, and I go along with it and try to do the best that I can do with what information they give me. I think that's the most accurate I can say to that point. Very important to me that I get head on, or else, you know, they start to actually scream a little bit and get angry. We don't want an angry spirit guide. Okay. Add the little marks in there. Alrighty. And how about we give that guy some eyebrows, because eyebrows are nice, aren't they? Yeah. Give this guy some eyebrows. So most of my paintings are like with background or detailing. Like, I am using like a very small brush, if you can see that. Okay, so most of my paintings I rely on this type of brush. Believe it or not, that's how I paint. Because like most of the time they give me these details and they're very, very tiny. It's very rare that I actually get to use a big brush, only because of the fact that, like I said, lots of detail goes into my paintings. A lot of it. Yes, I know. Yes. Yeah. Okay. He's like, bigger eyebrows. I'm not a lady. Yes, I know. I'm not a lady. Bigger eyebrows. Yes, I hear you. Sorry. How does that look? Good? Okay. I won't forget the eyelashes. Don't worry. He's like, too much talking, not enough painting. Oh, thank you for that. I've been told. Oh dear. There you go. Some eyelashes down here. And actually, I like how he's turning out. He's turning out great. And more humor, thank you. That's funny. He's like, I know I look great. Oh, dear. Definitely, this guy has a good sense of humor. I'm actually going to be sad when I'm done painting him, because he's just been so much fun to work with. I don't get to work with a lot of humor guides. So this is just awesome for me. Got another humor guide in the house. The hubbies. He comes in like a kind of like a Texas cowboy. Oh my gosh, funniest little man ever. I shouldn't say little, but he's not little, but he's hilarious. All right. So now comes the fun part with the markings. Of course, you're showing me red. Why do you show me red at the last minute? Seriously. See? Bound to be an argument. Ah, of course. Yeah, well, let's hope that this shows up, huh? Yeah. No, do not show me orange. Please do not show me orange. Because if you show me orange, I'm going to cry. Because orange is not going to show up. Predicaments. So I am going to do his markings. Okay, I see red, I see yellow. We'll see what else he's going to throw at me. Yes, 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 yes. I know, I know, I know. Just hold your horses. My goodness. See, some spirit guides they tend to be alright with certain things, and then as soon as you start painting something, they get really, really touchy about certain aspects. This one, obviously, is a certain aspect that he's getting touchy over. Okay. Okay. Yes, I know, I almost forgot your beard, I'm sorry. Your stubble, whatever it is. Yeah. Your 5 o'clock shadow. Yes, yes, yes. I'm getting there, buddy. Patience, patience, please. So usually they're pretty good up until a point. No offense. I think this is why. No offense, I chose this guy over the Valkyrie, only because he can still make things a little bit lighter, and he can still get a little angry, but not as, like, defensive. Because I don't know, there'd be a lot of pickiness when it comes to the Valkyrie. Okay, get this double going here. Yeah, hang on, buddy, hang on. We're almost there. You don't want me to go too fast or else it's gonna smear. Hmm? Yeah, that's what I thought. Trust me, I don't have lead in my paints. I am not talking to myself. I really am not talking to myself. I am talking to this spirit guide here. If you ask my husband, this is how my paintings go. This is how conversations go, and all that. Okay. So there you have it. Alright, so there you have it. We have our man. He's painted. I'm not going to stick around and bore you with the details of the shirt and the butterfly, okay? But we have his face, so I'm going to tilt up my camera here. Okay? So we have him. Okay? Look at that gorgeous smile. A little bit of bantering at the end, but he's happy. He's saying yes, yes. So that's a good thing. I saw. Yeah. Looking beautiful. So that is the process of how I paint. Yes, it was a very long video. Yes, some of it was kind of boring. I tried to add in some interesting stuff. But that is the process. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know if you guys want me to make another one, but the next one that I'll probably be doing, I'll do another past life one. Past life ones are a little bit more intriguing. I think what I'll do is I'll actually sketch it first and then paint it. So that way I can paint and talk at the same time. It's a little bit easier that way than to kind of like paint when you guys already know what I'm painting. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I will look forward to seeing or talking with you guys some more. All right, positivity, y'all. Bye.